A rivalry which spans more than 100 years resumes on the east side of Greensboro, North Carolina, as North Carolina Central ventures to Truist Stadium to battle North Carolina A&T. There's no love lost between these two bitter foes as we get set to kick off the 98th Aggie-Eagle Classic on Flo College and My48.
Welcome inside Truist Stadium. Spencer Turkin alongside my partner Damian Banks. We've got a great one for you folks. Let's face it, houses are divided today. Two bitter rivals going at it on the east side of Greensboro. You cannot script a better scene.
Talk about houses divided, a rivalry like none other. Central A&T, that's all I have to say.
The Eagles have a high-flying offense led by their quarterback, Walker Harris. This is a guy who can sling it all over the place.
The Raleigh native Walker Harris, second season as the starter for Central. Much more comfortable. He looks to throw it all over the yard today.
North Carolina A&T will try and control the pace of this ball game using the running attack. Wesley Graves is the guy that can set the tempo.
Wesley Graves, a bruiser with a little speed. He'll get it in the end zone given the opportunity. Look for Wesley Graves to have a big afternoon.
In just a few moments, we'll introduce the third member of our team, Raven Douglas. She's standing by to get you set for kickoff. It's the 98th Aggie-Eagle Classic, and it's coming up next on Flo College and My48.
And wide receiver, number 5, Javon Dillard. Also out wide, number 2, Jamison Warren. And completing the trio of wide receivers, number 3, Almonte Jones. Your Aggies are led by head coach Sean Gibbs. That team for Central, number 81, Gerald Taylor, and number 1, Christian Mosley. Kicking off for the Aggies, number 39, Andrew Brown. Aggie Nation, and worldwide. Can I get it at Detroit? On the return, number 4, Rufino Pancakes. First and 10 for Central. And their own 21. Quarterbacking, Walker Harris. It's complete to number 87, Nassim Crosby. A&T, number 19, Caleb Wilson. It's good. And with 14:03 remaining in quarter number one. Kicking off for Central, number 19, Caleb Wilson. It'll be first and 10 for the Aggies beginning at their 25. Leading the charge for the Aggies, 0, Kevin White. On the carry is Wesley Graves, and it's enough for an A&T first down. Made by number 28, Jelani Nassau. Graves on the carry. Stop made again by number 28, Jelani Nassau. There's a loss on the play. Loss made on the play. Second down and conceded. Direct snap to number 1, J.T. Smith. No gain. Brings up third down and 18 for the Aggies. Pivot right on the keeper. Gain of 3. Brings it fourth down to 15. On to punt for the Aggies, number 46, DJ Page. Drop it back deep. For Central, number 11, Makai Wall. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Eagles. They'll begin their drive at their 37. On the carry, made by a host of Aggies. A loss of 1 on the play brings up 2nd down and 11 for the Eagles. Walker's pass is complete to 0. Chauncey Spikes.
And a half.
There initially, defensively, A&T had that one covered up. Forced Walker Harris to improvise and get out of the pocket, but he ran to throw rather than tucking it and going. Kept his eyes downfield, and now it's going to be 3rd and short for the Eagles.
A&T this season allowing just 32% on 3rd down conversions. And here is Mosley again. He shoots up the middle and is able to rush his way into Aggie territory with a 1st down to his name.
You see Mosley there again saying he's that close to breaking it again. If not for Kamari Blankumsey, Mosley could still be running.
Down for the Eagles cross midfield into Aggie territory at the 46.
So 1st and 10 for the Eagles. Walker to the air again.
And that's just an overthrow. A bit of fortune there for A&T. Eagles had a man running down the field, down the seam, open. Chance Peterson. Trey Mittman trailed the safety. Aggies got away with one there.
Brings up 2nd and 10 from the 44-yard line. Harris, that one bounces up and will fall to the natural grass surface here at Truist Stadium. Brings up 3rd and 10.
Good coverage in the secondary is Harris looking to pick up half of that needed yardage for the 1st down, but now it's going to set up 3rd and long here for Central.
Walker Harris a week ago against Fayetteville State completed 64% of his passes for a career-high 387 yards. To the air again. Harris has some time, tucks it, runs it, and is dragged down from behind. And that will put a 4 in the box as Tim Alderman was able to make the stop, coming off a week in which he had 7 tackles, 2 for a loss against Hampton.
Sorry about that, partner. We'll see the replay here. Alderman actually was blocked pretty well, fell to the ground, but that's a case of not giving up on the play. Alderman gets up from the initial block and gets Walker Harris by the ankles to force this punt.
It'll be Brandon Bowman back to kick this one away for North Carolina Central. Amonte Jones will call for the fair catch and will secure it and around the 7-yard line. So the Aggies with 93 yards to go as we take a timeout here in Greensboro. NC Central on top, 7-0. We're back after this.
It's a new year at Grid Ford. That
means we have new.
And we'll also honor the 2015 football team that won the MEAC, won the HBCU National Championship, and won the inaugural Celebration Bowl. To put the strength of these Aggie roots into perspective, several pieces of this current A&T coaching staff were a part of the team. Defensive coordinator Denzel Jones was the starting middle linebacker for the team and even won defensive MVP for the Celebration Bowl. Defensive backs coach Tony McCray was also the starting cornerback. Then on top of that, Coach Gibbs was the running backs coach at the time, and then Coach Trey Oliver was on this sideline as the outside linebackers coaches. So there's a lot of connection between these schools, a lot of history. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Raven. 1st and 10 for North Carolina A&T from its own 7, and as Raven mentioned, a lot of connections between the two staffs. Plenty of history back and forth between these two squads in the rivalry. Of course, Bill Hayes, legendary head coach over here at North Carolina A&T, a North Carolina Central graduate. Rod Broadway coached and won championships at both schools. I could go on.
Offside. Defense. Number 97.
Schools that have played each other for over 100 years with a ton of history together. You get a long list of historic events.
And a lot of intertwining parts, players, coaches, all the et cetera with North Carolina Central and North Carolina A&T, and families divided. Marriages, you may have a husband from A&T or a wife from Central, so it's been like that for a long time. Ball's on the ground here.
Bad snap, and this one will be touched in the end zone. Let's see if it went out of bounds. We are still waiting for the call. Flags have gone flying.
The rule of the field is a safety.
We do have a safety, and so it will be 2 points for North Carolina Central.
There's no foul.
So offensively for A&T, not a great start. Pretty heads-up play there, though, by Kevin White to not try to dive on it, potentially not able to secure the football, just takes the safety. How about North Carolina Central coming up the road and getting off to a hot start here in Greensboro?
So Andrew Dorsey, the center, that was his third high snap of the day, and it is early. Again, he's had a lot of cornerbacks that he's had to try and mesh with. And I know it's not the same as an under-center type snap, but there still is that chemistry and the height and a few differences that you have to account for.
Yeah, you make a great point, partner. As a center, you know, you want to get used to the level of your snap for one quarterback. But due to injuries for A&T, they've had several guys back there. So, but you would ask a coach, hey, no excuses. You got to get it done. But you move on. You give up the 2 points. Defensively now, you're going to have to get back out on the field and stop North Carolina Central once again.
So now a 2-possession ball game here in Greensboro.
Returning punt, number 81, Daryl Taylor, and number 4, Van Gates.
So it'll be Daryl Taylor and
Correction, receiving the kickoff. Kicking off for the Aggies, number 39.
Rufino Van Gates back deep.
Another chance here for Central, especially with the short kick, to get good field position to start this drive.
And a little different setup in college. You can kick off from the 20 off a tee, as opposed to that safety punt that you would typically see at other levels. Brown gives this one a ride. Van Gates will retreat to the 16. And he is popped. Jonathan Kimbrough Campbell able to end that threat before Van Gates reached the 30. They'll actually give him the 30 on the spot.
Ty Williams Jr. as well on the tackle. If you're going to give up yardage after a safety, you want to try to pin your opponent back, and just excellent coverage on the kick by the Aggies. Again, defensively, A&T trying to settle in after giving up that initial touchdown on the drive. Did force a punt on Central's second offensive possession. They're going to have to continue this until the offense can come along in this ball game.
And it looks like there's going to be a review on the play. I would assume potentially for targeting.
Could be a targeting call. Again, this is the new age of college football. You want to protect players at all costs. Rules are the rules. Look pretty clean to me. We'll see on the replay. And this is going to be a big call. Is the difference between losing a player and getting 15 yards for North Carolina Central, or just playing on.
I don't see any targeting on that one, but you and I have been wrong plenty.
Yeah, not much there.
Looks shoulder to shoulder to me as we hear from
After
Pretty
first
quick
and
call here.
Randolph.
The rule is there was no targeting on the play. 1st and 10.
Not much there to overturn anything or to penalize a player for targeting. So we'll get back to the action. Mentioned defensively, A&T settled in that second possession, forced a punt from Walker Harrison crew from North Carolina Central.
Well, this NCCU offense, 95 yards so far. A&T -6. Harris will let this one stay on the ground, and here comes Central. It's Rogers through the middle, and he's finally brought down at the 25 by Ty Williams Jr. As NCCU getting it done on the ground today, taking a page out of the A&T playbook.
We talk about controlling the line of scrimmage, and Central right now running the football, finding those gashes in the defense for North Carolina A&T. A big run for the Eagles.
First and 10 from the 25. Harris to the outside, completes the pass to Peterson as he is angled out of bounds after gaining a first down, and the Eagles are into the red zone.
You see that mesh concept there. Just had the outside wide receiver run off the boundary corner. You have that easy out for your slot guy against a safety. That's a mismatch in favor of North Carolina Central.
The Eagles went 5 for 5 last week in the red zone. First and 10 from the 15. The handoff to Mosley. He breaks free down the sideline and into the promised land again. Chris Mosley, touchdown, NCCU.
The Eagles are soaring here in the first quarter. We talked about all that optimism after last week's win for A&T. Well, now that optimism has turned into reality as the Eagles have come to town and got the job done in the first quarter here in Greensboro. Big time run there from Mosley. And again, that speed just to get to the outside, blocking up front. And here you see the kick out block. Mosley untouched as he gets in the zone for North Carolina Central.
Harris for the 2-point conversion and put a little too much mustard on that one. Chance Peterson was his intended receiver. The two of them actually went to the same high school, Heritage High School in Wake County.
So they should have a special connection. Walker Harris and his wide receiver, number 1. Not sure if Central has a number 1 wide receiver. He pretty much spreads it around.
15-0. The Eagles out in front early. We're back after these messages on My 48. A&T trailing North Carolina Central. Aggie excellence, sustaining success, and investing in champions. That's what Aggies do.
And if North Carolina A&T wants to make a game of this here in this first quarter, they're going to have to invest in better line play at the line of scrimmage. It starts up front. So far, Central making all the plays in those trenches to open up the run game. A&T has time. The good thing is it's early. We're only about halfway through this first quarter, but the Aggies have to make some adjustments defensively, or it's going to get very ugly here in Greensboro.
Listen, we saw North Carolina A&T just a week ago come back from 2 scores down with 57 seconds remaining. So quitting is not on the table here.
It's not on the table, but adjustments have to be made.
That, and let's face it, playing from behind is no fun.
Especially when you're, shuffling in a new quarterback. Not new, but Kevin White hadn't played in a season.
The Aggies are going to take it from the end zone, and the Eagles are going to make them pay for that decision.
Absolutely blasted.
Cortez Lane got smoked by Aiden Davis.
Aiden Davis running down on kick coverage with a purpose. And you mentioned taking a risk of bringing it out of the end zone, just trying to spark your ball club. Bad decision. It's Aiden
Doing
Davis.
the return. Holding. Receiving team.
And a hold.
Compounded by a holding penalty. So
first down.
You know what? When you're 7 yards deep, you should probably just let it go out the back of the end zone.
And I get what you're trying to do by, getting a big return, maybe sparking your ball club, but the risk-reward factor in bringing it out 7 yards deep, not very high. Now A&T is going to be backed up as they begin their offensive possession.
And you've already had a safety today being buried deep in your own end. So 1st and 10 from the 6. The Aggies will keep it on the ground, as J.T. Smith will get the call. He had a touchdown last week against Hampton. This NCCU defense put up a nice show against Fayetteville State a week ago, winning 49-19, giving up just 234 yards total. That coming off a tough one against Old Dominion, 54-6, allowing 544 yards. But that ODU squad then went on to beat Virginia Tech. So that is a tough team to have to try and handle. Here's White from the end zone, throws and leads his receiver a little too far, as Anthony Rucker was about 4 yards short of where that ball would have been in the landing zone.
And that's a little bit of rust there on Kevin White. Had a man open in that zone for Central, would have been a big-time pickup for a first down. White with the overthrow now forces this 3rd and long, and not the situation that you want to be in offensively if you're North Carolina A&T.
Especially for an A&T team that prides itself on the running game. This is not how you get yourself into a running situation, and it looks like White thought someone was going to zig, and instead it looked like Rucker again zagged. And so
again, you mentioned not a great scenario there, 3rd and long with a quarterback who hadn't played in about a year. And you mentioned miscommunication. White looking to the outside, wide receiver runs an in-cutting route. The Aggies have to punt near their back end zone.
And this is where you get into trouble, right?
Danger
because
zone.
now, forgetting the fact that the Eagles could bring the house there. Hold on, there is the flag.
Intentional ground.
Intentional grounding.
Offense, number 0. The results of the play is a safety.
And I'm not sure that Kevin White was trying to throw the ball away. I think that he genuinely had miscommunication with the wide receiver. But the officials are going to call that one as intentional ground, and White threw it in the end zone.
And so that's a safety. That's the second safety already today, given up by A&T. And Sean
White was not in danger of getting sacked or anything. I just think that he misread where his wide receiver ran that route. Not quite sure about that call, but again, we're up here. We have a bird's eye view. We don't have a field's eye view.
Well, Alexander Randolph, the Whitecap, went over to try and explain it to Sean Gibbs, and he wanted to hear none of it.
Sometimes it's hard to explain the unexplainable.
So 17-0.
And you can hear a pin drop here inside of Truist. All that excitement wind completely taken out of this stadium. It's going to be an uphill battle now for the Aggies. And again, Eagles getting the ball on a free kick. Probably going to start with decent field position to begin their drive.
So Andrew Brown on again to kick this one away. It's Taylor. And Van Gates back deep for the Eagles. Brown sends this one end over end. Van Gates will call for the fair catch at the 14. So he's not going to risk anything with a 17-0 lead in the first quarter. A picture-perfect start for NCCU here in Greensboro. You make the 56-mile drive, and you jump out on your rival and silence the home crowd. I don't think Trey Oliver could have scripted this any better.
Not just silencing the home crowd, but completely shocking these Aggies fans. Again, not only coming off that big-time win in overtime versus Hampton, but this is the game for both of these fan bases.
Please reset the game clock.
And Central coming out with a purpose. A&T right now filled with mistakes in this first quarter. This is a big-time defensive possession here for A&T. They cannot allow any points on this drive from North Carolina Central.
This is where you need to try and get yourself a turnover, as there's been a quarterback change for NCCU. Joshua Jones, the sophomore from Fayetteville, North Carolina, will check into the game. He's thrown just 2 passes this season.
Looked like a designed quarterback run there for Jones, trying to catch the Aggies defense napping. Good awareness by the Aggies for a big-time tackle for loss to start this drive. That's how you want the defense to play here for the remainder of this ball game.
I think Trey Oliver was trying to see if you and I were asleep at the wheel.
I saw a quarterback change. Sometimes coaches will throw a bone and see a particular look.
Harris able to find Mosley, and he gets knocked out of bounds by Josh Isaiah.
Mosley gets the yardage back on the TFL. Still going to set up 3rd and long here.
Central was 1 for 2 today on 3rd down. For the season, converting almost 40% of their opportunities. 3rd and 10 from the 25. Harris has time, throws, and completes this one to Van Gates. He gets upended out of bounds and will have the first down to put in his back pocket and move the chains.
2-man route on the right side. Just too much space as both the safety and the corner go with the slot receiver. Leaves Van Gates open for the first down. That's just too easy. All the time in the world there for Walker Harris to find Van Gates, and Gates gets airborne. That's dangerous for Van Gates.
Twins left and right. Harris looking, throws, and there's no one there. And that'll bring up 2nd and 10 from the 46. No, Walker Harris replaced Davius Richard, who one of the best NCCU quarterbacks in that program's history, and now being coached by him as well, as he is on staff, trying to provide some of that knowledge and help develop Walker Harris. So not a bad guy to learn from.
And not only that, just Walker Harris in the offense.
3rd and 8 from the 48. Harris will direct some traffic, and so send Makai Wall to the slot at the top of the screen. Bracey, the motion man, targets him, finds him, and it'll be in the sticks, and that will put a 4 in the box.
It's a big-time tackle there. Luke Bracey, a big guy, try to bring down as Bracey hobbling back to the line of scrimmage.
It brings up 4th down.
Eagles are going to keep the offense on the field here. And why not? Already up 17-0, but again, for A&T defensively, watch the football. Timeout on the field.
Timeout.
Trey Oliver wants to think
North
about
Carolina Central. They're first.
So NCCU will
30
call
seconds.
a timeout with 2:51 to go here in the first quarter, up 17-0. It's 4th and 2. You're kind of in this no man's land, right, where it doesn't kill you if you have a turnover on downs. A&T is minus 12 on the day for yardage, while you've already gained 195 yards. And
This is true.
if you are able to gain those 2 yards or 2+ yards, you thought this place was quiet now. These folks might be going home earlier than they did last week.
Well, partner-
and they missed a heck of an ending when they did.
Well, if you left early last week, you did miss a whale of a last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter in overtime. But on this particular play, if I'm going to put on my coaching hat, I'm punting the ball. Because A&T, aside from the Wesley Graves first down run on the first possession for A&T, they haven't done anything offensively. So I pinned them deep and forced the offense to do something.
Josh Jones is on as the quarterback, so this could be one of those rushing or quick kick situations. There's only one defender out wide. Jones takes it, rushes it, and this one might be coming back as there's a flag on the field. As of right now, he has the yardage. And this one is indeed coming back. It will be a 10-yard hold.
So this is going to make the decision
84.
easy for Trey
10-yard
Oliver.
penalty. 4th
He
down.
took your advice, went forward, you get that first down, you keep the pressure on them. You do pick up the first down, but it comes back with a penalty, so no harm. You punt it, pin the Aggies deep, hopefully, with your punt game, and then you play defense.
It'll be Brandon Bowman on to punt this away. Amonte Jones will hover around the 18-yard line awaiting the punt. Averaging just 6 yards per return so far this season. A beautiful spiraling kick backs Jones up to the 2-yard line. He might have been able to let that one go. Now a flag comes flying in. Jones up the sideline. He's got blockers, and he is going to ease up. They're saying he was out of bounds. They're saying he stepped out of bounds at around the 28-yard line.
I'd love to see that replay. If the flag came initially on the catch. Now the officials have already called a safety that was, let's just say, questionable. Let's see what this call is.
There's laundry all over the place.
Usually Saturdays at my house, washing machine is going in overdrive, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Well, the officials are conferencing near the A&T sideline. Looks like they're going to say he stepped out at around the 25.
A pretty good return, all things considered, catching the ball.
But now this
inside
is
the
the
5-yard line.
the second kick of some variety that probably should have just gone through the back of the end zone.
Again, partner, when you're right, you're right. But if you step out of, if everything, all things considered, you get the ball on the 26, just play football, but you have to do something offensively if you're A&T. Sustain a drive. You would love to lean on your run game here.
Doing the run. Personal foul. Face mask. Receiving team. Number 34. The penalty first after the goal. First down. North Carolina A&T.
And that's a face mask on Central. Check that A&T. Didn't see that one. And that's, again, going to back up the Aggies. You mentioned just let it go in the end zone and bring it out. So questionable decision to catch the punt for A&T. And the Aggies are going to be backed up as they start this possession.
This is the third possession for A&T that will start from inside the 15 and going out. So, field position battle, advantage Central.
And for Central, right now they are controlling this game at the line of scrimmage. Let's see if these big guys from A&T can start to open up some running lanes.
Nowhere to go for Smith as Thomas Johnson was clogging everything up. He is, for a 235-pound lineman, he covers a lot of space, but he also plays much bigger than he's listed.
And you're going to have to play big in this ball game, and you already start to see the chirping down there on the field. And
we're still in the first quarter.
You're going to have to do something about it if you're A&T. I mean, Central has a 17-point lead here. Only way to stop the talking is for you to produce on the field.
Right now, the battle in the trenches being won by the maroon and white.
See Sterling Wiggins, Thomas Johnson getting into it down there on the field. Chippiness. Officials have to keep an eye on that.
Right now, NCCU has that advantage. Every single time they are blowing the Aggie offensive line back 2-3 yards. Play action. White throws. That one is complete to Dillard. And that'll be his first completion of the season.
Much needed first down pickup there for A&T as White settles, plants his feet on time, fires it out to Dillard, who picks up the first for the Aggies.
That should calm some nerves.
And for Kevin White, he, again, injured in this ball game last season, hadn't played. It's going to be a little bit of rust for Kevin White. He just tries to settle into this ball game.
Graves, he gets wrapped up and brought down in the backfield. You saw the snaps early were high and fast. Now they're low and soft. There's got to be a happy medium here.
But again, it almost doesn't matter about the snaps when you have three defenders in the backfield immediately for North Carolina Central.
Oh, the Aggie Dog and Aggie Thud don't like what they see here early. 17-0.
That's the end of the first quarter.
NCCU on top in the 98th Aggie-Eagle Classic. We're back after these messages. You're tuned in on Flo College and My 48.
Worldwide, a lot of great things about North Carolina A&T University. Off the field, they want to begin to transfer that back onto the football field here in Greensboro.
Well, that is the plan. It's the Aggies in search of that R1 research status and trying to make some changes here with the football program. Obviously, bringing back Sean Gibbs was move number one.
You know what that status brings. Young Moolah, baby. In the immortal words of Weezy F.
That is for sure. A tough offensive first quarter for North Carolina A&T, netted out at 0 yards. Kevin White, the quarterback, he'll roll out, throws on the run, and throws it at the feet of Dillard. So that one incomplete.
That's a tough throw for a right-handed quarterback rolling to his left. You got to square those shoulders. For White and company and A&T.
3rd and 11 from its own 25. This one stays on the ground. Graves able to gain 1 as this NCCU defense, led by Max Uren, the Mount Tabor grad from just over in Forsyth County. A preseason All-MEAC first-team selection, getting the job done. It'll bring out DJ Page and this A&T punt unit. Makai Wall is back at his own 30. High spiraling kick. Wall will let this one sail out of bounds, and the side judge will say it went out at the 20. So DJ Page able to flip the field. Some words being exchanged in between the hash marks. Everybody will retreat to their sidelines, and we'll continue playing football.
And again, defensively, A&T back on the field. You know, eventually, you're going to have to help your defense if you're North Carolina A&T. We're already trailing 17-0. Central's super comfortable here offensively. Not a lot of pressure on Walker Harris. They're able to run the football as well. So when do the Aggies start to take chances, both offensively and defensively here in this ballgame?
Harris on as the quarterback. He'll drop back, throws towards the wing, and is able to complete the pass to Peterson, who is escorted out of bounds on that far sideline.
That's the mismatch that the Eagles are looking for. Get Peterson on a safety. And Trey Mittman, you want to get your shifty slot receiver on a safety, and you hope that that receiver wins every time.
To the air again. Back to Peterson. He's across midfield and is chased down.
Same play, different side. That's going to be difficult for Mittman to cover that much ground. You know, simple route conception. Outside, wide out. Clears out the space by running a go route. Mittman trying to get to the sideline. Can't quite make it. Another first down there for Chance Peterson.
The Eagles making this look easy. This time on the ground, Mosley, second chance, and he is able to turn nothing into something.
And Mosley bottled up initially. He's patient, bounces it outside, utilizes that speed. Nice gain there for Christian Mosley. We talked about it off air. We've talked about it in pregame. This is the game, but you can hear a pin drop here in the stadium.
Harris pump fakes and throws, completes this one to Nassim Cosby.
Stop made by number 6.
North Carolina Central just very comfortable down there on the field. No pressure there on Walker Harris. He's able to look left, come off of that read, and find an open receiver in the middle of the field for a first down.
I think that's the biggest difference, right? There's no pressure coming from the front four of A&T. None.
And that's something that was one of my keys to the game, winning at the line of scrimmage, both offensively and defensively for A&T. If they were going to be able to win this ball game, had to control the game in the trenches.
Harris.
Just look at that
plenty of
pocket.
time. Throws on the run, and that one sails out of bounds and incomplete. Chauncey Spikes was the intended receiver.
And that's just good coverage in the secondary because Walker Harris had all day and tomorrow to try to find someone open downfield. Ultimately has to quasi-throw it away. You mentioned no pressure. Front four from the Eagles at some point. Aggies may have to start blitzing to get pressure, but that opens up holes in your defense when you send backers on blitzes.
Peterson, the motion man. Screen. This one bobbled by Mosley, and he cannot hold on.
Probably a good thing that Mosley didn't catch that one.
He was about to get blown up.
Defensively, Aggies read that one well. Stephen Davis II would have been there to make the tackle. See if the Aggies can get off the field here on third down.
Third and 10 from the 30-yard line for NCCU. The Eagles get a play change in. 1 on the play clock. And a timeout is taken by the Eagles, their second timeout of the half.
Timeout.
And Trey Oliver is fuming on that far sideline that he had to burn a timeout.
And again, even though you're up 17-0, it's not about, hey, up 17-0 is okay, we use a second timeout. You want to have the operation ready and not have to come down to the last 1 or 2 seconds before you have to use that timeout. As Walker Harris, you're a redshirt senior. This is your second season as a starting quarterback. You should have command and control and not use that timeout.
We'll take a timeout with the Eagles. We're back after this on My 48.
You can hear in the stadium. Well, Coach Gibbs prepared for that. Earlier this week, he told his team, sometimes you have to create your own energy. So he has guys on the sideline who he's deemed the dog pound. These are players who haven't suited up, who are injured, or things like that. They're carrying around towels called saying, you can't hide Aggie pride. These are used for just creating the energy, picking up the teammates, getting the crowd hyped as they try to fight back through this game. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Raven. 3rd and 10 from the 30 for NCCU coming out of the timeout. It's Josh Jones as the quarterback. Keeper. And A&T's defense was not fooled on that play call. When number 10 is in the backfield, it looks like it's going to be a run every time.
You're good swarming to the football there by the defense for North Carolina A&T. Nothing doing there for Jones. It's going to be 4th and long here in no man's land, and Walker Harris back out for the Eagles. And you got to look at it like this. Maybe Coach Oliver knew that he was going to go for it on 4th regardless on that 3rd down play. And
Trey Oliver's foot is through the floorboard right now on the gas pedal.
Eagles looking for the kill shot here, definitely.
4th and 11. Harris drops back under some pressure, tucks it, runs it, and he is brought down. And it'll be a turnover on downs as Marquise Hood lost his hood on that play, and he's a little slow to get up.
A good defense there again by A&T on the 4th down play, and same concept as they tried to look for the slot receiver, Chance Peterson, bottled up. First bit of pressure in quite some time from the defensive front for A&T forced Walker Harris to step up in the pocket, and the Aggies get the stop.
But that's what A&T is going to have to do today if they're going to get back in this game, in my opinion. And I think in yours, right? I don't want to speak for you, but we've talked about this a little bit. Those chances are what's going to make A&T's day, as White will tuck it, run it, and will find himself just at that 1st down marker. Will they give it to him? Yes, they're going to wave the chains and point for the 1st down. That's the Kevin White that can cause fits. The one that tucks it, runs it, and makes you think about what you're going to do.
Yeah, you're going to have to account for that defensively. If Kevin White's decide, hey, I'm going to use my legs for the remainder of this ball game, White with the speed to get to the outside, and I thought that he could have pulled it a few times in that 1st quarter, but decides to do it there and picks up the 1st.
But that's a confidence thing, too. Here's Warren. The end around, and he's able to gain 4.
Jamison Warren, one of the heroes of the Hampton win for Central, catching a 41-yard touchdown late in that 4th quarter.
Number 2 for the Aggies.
It was a 41-yard touchdown grab, a bullet from Noah Sanders. 2nd and 6 for A&T. White quickly to the outside, and that one short, as Laquan Vini was the intended target. White is definitely still trying to take the rust off from his arm.
And you can see it in those type of pass plays, quick passes, skipping them, not having the timing in the rhythm that you would like. And it's going to be an adjustment. It's going to be a first-half adjustment you would hope in the second half if you're A&T. He's settled in and starts to play the type of football that you think he can play.
I mean, the quarterback situation in Greensboro is something I've never seen before, as White under pressure and is sacked, and Central coming up with the football. The official saying that White was down.
And White under pressure tried to slip away from the defender. As Rufino Van Gates, check that. Mekhi McCall comes up with the ball, thinks that he has a fumble. See there on the replay, White looking for it. Now they're going to review it. Be interesting. This is a big call here.
Getting back to my point about the QB situation here, you get down to your 7th quarterback.
7th?
Last week with Noah Sanders.
Usually number 7 is Lucky. He's not.
Well, he was, right? He came in and was able to lead the Aggies to victory.
This is true.
And then the guy that was your starter out of the gate last year comes back now. You're still further down the depth chart than you would like to be.
This is true. Once again, you're always right, partner. But again, for A&T, regardless of who you have under center, if your running game gets consistent in the way that you know and you think that Wesley Graves and company could control the clock, lean on that run game as you see there.
Did the ground cause that fumble?
I think
that's the question.
It looked like the ground caused the fumble from White, but again, officials make calls that I don't agree with all the time, so I don't even try to at this point.
You don't even acknowledge that targeting is part of the rule book at this point. I mean, I know you're an old school guy, but
I mean, sometimes it's egregious. Sometimes targeting is egregious, but sometimes like
but they used to call that unsportsmanlike conduct back in the day.
Well, you got a helmet and shoulder pads on for a reason. I mean, not like you're out there launching yourself.
I understand that, but I mean, even
without
when we were in
any
high school,
type of
the officials used to come over. They used to read the card to you and remind you that your helmet's not a weapon. All that,
like,
right?
Yeah. Okay, we hear you. Get out of my way.
Yeah, that went in one ear and out the other for you.
Yeah, we hear you.
Page with a short punt. This one's muffed, picked up by Central, though, as Jalen Graves was right there to save the day. There is a flag on the play, and that might be kick-catch interference. I don't know if that 1 yard circumference was.
That 1 yard halo rule may be kicked.
And the penalties have been absolutely killer for the Aggies today.
And for Central, they don't need any help so far in this ball game from A&T. So you don't want to help your opponent in any case, but especially for Central right now, offensively, they've been playing really well here in this first half. And you look up at the scoreboard, it's 17-0, but it's a lot of time left in the ball game. A&T could just get something going offensively to make it game.
Kick catch interference, kicking team, 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's another 15-yard penalty. Charge to the Aggies. That's the
penalty was on number 49.
That's not going to help the defense at all. You give North Carolina Central breathing room now as they begin their offensive possession.
So 1st and 10 for the Eagles. From their own 39, 3 wide receivers to the bottom of your screen. NCCU keeps it on the ground. It will be Rogers who gets the call, still moving, and he's able to gain 9, it looks like. And actually, they're going
to give him
10. Wow.
From pure effort, I think the official hey, it's close enough.
That's
a tough run there.
That's a tough run. That's a tough spot, too. My goodness. This time the Aggies give him nowhere to go, and it looks like a whole pack of dogs on a mission.
And Rogers had one of those old school carries for the first down the previous play. This time A&T bowing their back, coming up with a short game. You would expect Arthur Rogers to run the way old school Not a lot of jukes and jive. It's a lot. Arthur, not a lot of Arthurs these days.
Listen, you've got 3 preseason first-team All-MEAC. On a mission.
And Rogers had one of those old school carries for the first down the previous play. This time A&T bowing their back, coming up with a short game. You would expect Arthur Rogers to run the way old school, not a lot of jukes and jive. It's a lot. Arthur, not a lot of Arthurs these days.
Listen, you've got 3 preseason first-team All-MEAC selections in front of you. If I'm Trey Oliver, I'm using them all day long. On a mission.
And Rogers had one of those old school carries for the first down the previous play. This time A&T bowing their back, coming up with a short game. You would expect Arthur Rogers to run the way old school, not a lot of jukes and jive. It's a lot. Arthur, not a lot of Arthurs these days.
Listen, you've got 3 preseason first-team All-MEAC selections in front of you. If I'm Trey Oliver, I'm using them all day long.
And you use the run to set up the pass, and Walker Harris has done that in this ball game so far.
Cosby is angled out, and that will move.
Their back, coming up with a short game. You would expect Arthur Rogers to run the way old school, not a lot of jukes and jive. It's a lot. Arthur, not a lot of Arthurs these days.
Listen, you've got 3 preseason first-team All-MEAC selections in front of you. If I'm Trey Oliver, I'm using them all day long.
Their back, coming up with a short game. You would expect Arthur Rogers to run the way old school, not a lot of jukes and jive. It's a lot. Arthur, not a lot of Arthurs these days.
Listen, you've got 3 preseason first-team All-MEAC selections in front of you. If I'm Trey Oliver, I'm using them all day long.
Their back, coming up with a short game. You would expect Arthur Rogers to run the way old school, not a lot of jukes and jive. It's a lot. Arthur, not a lot of Arthurs these days.
Listen, you've got 3 preseason first-team All-MEAC selections in front of you. If I'm Trey Oliver, I'm using them all day long.
Not a lot of Arthurs these days.
Listen, you've got 3 preseason first-team All-MEAC selections in front of you. If I'm Trey Oliver, is angled out, and that will move. On kicks, and we'll let this one go, and a flag has appeared on the field back at the 37-yard line of Central.
For A&T offensively. Okay, the run game hasn't worked. You know that Central knows that you have your quarterback in this ball game that hadn't played in a year. What do you do offensively? You have to take chances. It's 24-0. You might as well, the playbook, the game plan that you had, time for improvising. Use Kevin White's legs. Utilize that aspect of his game, try to get on the perimeter, let him make the decision to spread it out in that second. Let's see if the Eagles secondary
Legal
can
formation. Kick it
consistently cover your
5-yard
wide receiver.
penalty. First down. North Carolina A&T.
So it was an illegal formation. By NCCU.
First down and 10 for the Aggies. They'll begin their drive.
And now,
So 1st and 10 from the 30 for the Aggies. So relatively speaking for today, pretty good field position. As Jalen Hicks will make his first appearance on the afternoon.
A&T's going to keep it on the ground. You mentioned Jalen Hicks. But again, if you can't win at the line of scrimmage, you don't want to abandon the run game. Eventually something may pop. But you have to win that battle up front. And sometimes you got to step up as a young man on that offensive front if you're North Carolina A&T.
Hicks, a member of the 4x400 CAA championship team here at North Carolina A&T.
I think that's the thought process. Maybe Hicks can pop one and get in that secondary and show off that speed.
Oh, he's got some good genes, too. His father, Maurice, an NFL running back that played here at North Carolina A&T, actually broke the D1 single-game rushing record versus Morgan State, 437 yards in a game. White connects with Rucker at the 45. Good for an A&T first down.
And good all around on that play. Good execution up front. White sets his feet. Rucker getting open in the secondary, catching the football, move the sticks. Sometimes football is simple, but hard at the same time.
And A&T jumped. And it looks like Andrew Dorsey might have misheard
False start.
when that ball was supposed to be snapped.
Number 66.
He's having a tough
5-yard
day.
penalty. First down.
So far, a lot of Aggies are having a tough day. You take 2 steps forward and you take a step back with that penalty. These are the type of plays that get you behind schedule on the drive. And let's see if A&T can overcome it here. Hadn't really done much offensively so far in this first half.
1st and 15. Play action. White to the outside. That one is caught. It's Jones down the sideline. Still going. And down inside the 10.
From disaster to, oh my God, that looked like a pick six. Had a interception and a touchdown written all over it. I don't know how that ball got into the hands of Amani Jones here. You see on the replay, just off the hands of the defender. And Eric Adams.
White on the run and completes it in the end zone.
And another tip catch. Jamison Warren.
Back-to-back games with a touchdown for Jamison Warren. And the Aggies are on the board.
White, when it looked like nothing was going to happen offensively for the Aggies, 2 straight passes where it looked like Eagles got their hands on the ball. Jamison Warren, right place, right time once again, gets North Carolina A&T on the board.
And those are the plays that can change a ball game.
White again out on the perimeter, utilizing his hands. No, that was a Aggie receiver that thought the ball was going to them. I think that was the tight end. Ends up in Warren's hands, secures it for the touchdown, and A&T can sigh. They're on the board.
Andrew Brown makes it 24-7 with 4:19 to go in the first half. And now Truist Stadium starting to come alive.
And what I start thinking now is, okay, you're on the board, you're down 17, 4:19 left. Get a stop, get the ball back, get a drive going, you get the ball back to start the third quarter. Totally different ball game here. But again,
that's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts.
And
but
yeah, my coach told me if and buts was candy and nuts, it'd be Christmas every day.
I was waiting for you to bust that one out.
You know
I
it was
knew
coming out.
that's at least 3 times a season.
Well, you said it was a lot of buts. But if those things occur, you're looking at a totally different ball game here in Greensboro.
We're looking at one now.
See a couple Aggies fans there enjoying themselves, and A&T finally gets on the scoreboard, but now it's going to be up to the defense. Can you get a stop?
Taylor and Van Gates back deep to receive the Brown kickoff. End over end kick. Van Gates fields it at the 6. He's to the 20 and is tripped up at the 24.
Good coverage there from A&T. The Eagles prepare to come back on the field. Does that touchdown provide juice for the defense? Because again, when all is in doubt for Central, you can run the ball because you have a offensive line that's going to create lanes and holes to run through for the run game. Can the defensive front for A&T step up to the challenge here and stop this Central run game?
Walker Harris keeps it, now throws on the run and completes the pass to Mekhi Wall. And the Greensboro native is able to, looks like gain 10 on the play. And they're going to move the chains.
The Aggies looking for a holding call there. As you mentioned, coming back home, you always want to play well in front of your family. Mekhi Wall picks up the first down for Central.
Harris, plenty of time, and is able to complete the pass to Mosley. The Aggies wanted a holding penalty on that one.
That's a case of Harris understanding that the pressure is coming, getting the ball out of his hands quickly, finds his outlet, Christian Mosley.
Second and 4. Harris to the outside, finds Spikes right around midfield.
Just soft coverage. Secondary there, once again, I mean, not anything extravagant in that route from North Carolina Central. It's just too much space there on the outside. Just run out 10 yards, turn around, and catch a first down.
First and 10 from midfield. Harris on the day, 14 of 19, buck 85 through the air. Down the seam, completes the pass to Mosley, and he dances into the end zone.
There you see North Carolina Central utilizing Christian Mosley in the pass game. There's laundry on the field. Let's see what the call is here.
The flag sits at the 17-yard line.
Be interesting what this call is because Mosley clearly passed the defender.
If this stands, it's his third touchdown of the day.
The result of the play is a touchdown. After the score, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 87, his first of the game. The 15-yard penalty is being forced on the kickoff.
Mosley with 3 touchdowns today as the Eagles spread their wings and take a 30-7 advantage.
Christian Mosley baptizing North Carolina A&T in his religion, and his religion is scoring touchdowns. And Mosley doing it on the ground, doing it catching the football. And to think Central lost their best running back to UVA in the offseason. Mosley hadn't really played a lot in his career at Central, but so far this season he's produced.
Extra point is good. Last year in this ball game, Mosley only had 5 carries for 23 yards.
Yeah, Mosley was not the focal point of the offense up until this season, but had a breakout game versus Southern, quiet games subsequently after that, but he's come to play here in Greensboro today, flashing the speed and on that last possession, the hands, and scoring that touchdown.
4 plays, 77 yards in a $144. And that is what you can't have happen if you are the A&T defense as you try and maintain momentum.
Yeah, Mosley just
wide open.
And nothing fancy, just running a go route out of the slot. Utilizing his speed, it's hard for a safety to keep up with Mosley in the open field. And that's just too easy for North Carolina Central as the Aggies not accounting for Mosley in the passing game.
Oh, an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on that play will force Robinson to kick off from the 20, so the Aggies might have an opportunity to return this one. Last year, Aaron Harris took one back 100 yards to open the ball game.
You would like to utilize this good field position potentially on this kick return and put a scoring drive together going into halftime.
Here's Hicks, and he gets knocked out by his own guy. Daniel Coles accidentally took out his own return man.
Hicks getting stopped before he gets started. The Aggies have a long way to go.
You see the new head man here in Aggie land, Dr. James Martin.
Dr. Martin, cool as the other side of the pillow. Ingratiating himself, the Aggie faithful. See what Kevin White, if he can duplicate the magic. The last offensive drive for A&T here. Good run to start this drive. Right up the gut. J.T. Smith picks up the big first down for North Carolina A&T, and one of the few times where a running back has had a big hole to run through.
And we have reached the 2-minute timeout,
timeout
here in Greensboro. It's all Eagles on the east side of the Gate City. We take a timeout. When we return, the 2-minute offense for North Carolina A&T with 3 timeouts in their back pocket. We're back after this. Damian Banks. Raven Douglas down on the sidelines. Definitely been an interesting day for the blue and gold. Not the way that they had prepared for this one. Kevin White seems like starting to get a little more comfortable. It's been a tough go in his return. The Aggies still under 100 yards of total offense for the day. Sitting at 99, NCCU with 384. Last year, the Eagles with 530 yards of offense in this game, 66 points. And the worst loss for A&T in the series.
And if A&T doesn't get it going here offensively, they're going to find themselves down just entirely too much to try to make a game of it.
Play action, White over the middle and completes it to Rucker. He's down the numbers. Still going inside the 10 and is brought down at the 5.
And that's the type of play that you have to make. Just let your hair down if you're Kevin White. And you find Rucker running open down the field. Big time game. Rucker showing off the wheels.
Smith chugging. And will gain a couple. A&T's had a couple of big plays break off.
You want to get it, and you want to pay off this drive with a touchdown rather than settling for 3 here.
Well, Wesley Graves is on. A&T with 3 timeouts. It's 2nd and goal from the 3. Aggies with plenty of time.
Rucker, the tight end, showing the wheels to get the Aggies down here. Let's see if the beast, Wesley Graves, can get him in the zone.
Graves. Not a lot of room to work. And looks like he gained one. At what point do you take a timeout?
I think that the coaching staff is thinking, like, we don't want to leave Central a lot of time.
Right.
You know, in the event that we do score, whether a touchdown or a field goal. So no rush here. 3rd and 3, you're probably going to have to throw it here.
Is this 4-down territory if you're A&T?
I mean, if you take the 3, you're down 3 scores.
White, the keeper. Nobody in front of him. Touchdown.
And Kevin White strolling in the end zone, and that's an Aggie touchdown. And I think the crowd thought that since White was kind of walking, they didn't know what exactly was going on the field. White had all day beautiful play fake there. Everyone went with Graves, and White gets in the end zone.
I'll tell you what, that should have been an unsportsmanlike conduct on Zarion Walters. That was a late hit. That was a late hit.
Definitely was late. Could have been called. There have been a few calls in this ball game where you kind of scratch your head.
And that should be running into the kicker. And there's no call on that one either.
So you're saying are you trying to say that these officials were imported from Durham?
I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that if you know the history of this rivalry,
you got to kind of keep it.
You have to keep things in check.
Definitely.
And letting 2 plays like that go is not going to help emotions on the A&T sideline.
It's not, but that touchdown will help those emotions.
For sure.
And that will get you back into the ball game mentally. 24 seconds remaining in this one. Get to the halftime break. Try to make your adjustments. But again, you mentioned officials. You got to call it both ways.
Have to.
You have to make sure that this game doesn't get out of control. You don't want the beautifulness of this rivalry to get ugly, if that makes any sense.
100%. And it's been a solid game so far. Everybody, for the most part, doing what needs to be done. We saw dirtier hits last week with Hampton.
Yes, we did.
Let's just be very honest about this. That was a 5-play, 74-yard drive and a $157. So the A&T 2-minute drill we've now seen in back-to-back weeks, that seems to be working.
It does. So
do you just run your offense like that all day? 2-minute drill?
Especially if it's working for you. It wouldn't be a bad idea. We'll see what adjustments that Coach Gibbs and his coaching staff makes at halftime.
Squib kick. This one's still loose inside the 10 and now picked up. And A&T was able to bury Central deep, and now tempers flaring as that helmet got ripped off of Darrell Taylor. Flags flying all over the place.
Probably going to be a horse collar call, and it wasn't purposefully. Just a player trying to make a play. As you mentioned, we'll give the officials time to sort all of this out. Getting spicy.
But
here in
let's
Greensboro.
face it, this is built upon what happened on the last 2 plays.
You think?
I mean, let's just be very honest about it, right? This was preventable.
Now you see
we're going to get a replay.
Coaches from both sidelines on the field. Here you see the ball gets away from Taylor. And I don't think that this was malicious, just a player trying to make a play.
That was a face mask for sure.
Definitely a face mask, but Taylor takes exception to it. But if you're Taylor, you got to be smart. You don't have your lid on there, son.
Yeah.
You might want to get out
Going
of
to
that
return.
ruckus.
Personal foul. Face mask. Number 6, kicking team. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Receiving team number 4, 15-yard penalty, first down.
So that was against
So
Van
both
Gates.
penalties against A&T.
Against the receiving team.
Both penalties. So that's going to be 30
that's
yards.
one. It's 1-1. Van Gates is the receiving team.
You're right. So that should be offsetting.
So let's see how they count this out.
You should offset it.
I believe it will end up being offset.
And probably re-kick if you're.
I don't know about a re-kick. Now it's going to depend on where they mark him.
Well, he had to be marked down and around the 1. That's where the face mask occurred. So you take the 15 yards, you give Central the 15 yards, and then you take the 15 yards away for the unsportsmanlike.
And that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to walk it up and walk it back because it's half the distance to the goal on the A&T penalty.
I didn't go to school to be official, but I did stay at my house last night. Probably not holiday.
So the unsportsmanlike on Van Gates was half the distance. And so now it will be a kneel formation for Harris. And the Eagles look content sending it to the locker room, up 31-14.
And I commend North Carolina Central for coming into this ball game focused, understanding the task at hand, getting off to a quick start. But A&T showing signs of life here as we head to halftime.
Well, the game within the game is about to start as the NCCU marching band has made the short trip over to Greensboro. A&T's marching band, the Blue and Gold Marching Machine, recently ranked number 1 in the country by ESPN, actually playing halftime at the Giants game tomorrow. Let's go ahead and send it down to Raven Douglas, standing by with Sean Gibbs.
Coach, just one question for you. A lot of action in that last minute. What is the message in the locker room to get this game in the second half?
Well, ain't no 17-point plays, so we got to take it one play at a time. We got to stop killing ourselves. We're giving them everything. I'm not taking any credit away from them, but every time they bust a long run, it's somebody's not in their gap, or we've missed a guy in coverage. We're giving the game to them. We got to stop beating ourselves and just play football and relax. If we do that, we'll be okay. The game's not over.
Got it. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Well, I would agree with that assessment.
I love it. And most of the plays in the secondary, especially with the long pass plays, you got guys running free. Most of the time, that's a busted coverage.
31-14 at the intermission. We'll take a timeout. We're back after this on My 48. Damian Banks, Raven Douglas with you as we get a look at our North Carolina Education Lottery halftime statistics and the Eagles flying up and down the field.
Eagles definitely flying high in this ball game, and it's not just passing. Look at the rush yards, 235 on the ground. That's just man on man. I can push you out of the box and run the football, and it's balance for the Eagles. For A&T, got a little bit of life going towards the halftime break on a couple of big Kevin White passes. White pays it off for a 1-yard touchdown run before the Aggies go into the halftime break.
Get a look at our halftime highlights. Walker Harris got things going early for NC Central. He was phenomenal through the air, 15 of 20 for 235 yards. And there is Mosley. He was the shining star of this Eagle offense in half number 1. 3 touchdowns in the first 30 minutes of action. 2 on the ground, 1 on the receiving end of things, as Mosley has really become a mainstay in this Eagle offense.
There's Walker Harris finding Cosby again. But just running the football as well as throwing. Central pretty much able to do what they wanted to do offensively there in the first half. Let's see what adjustments defensively the Aggies make at halftime. Here you see White, almost a pick six, gets into the hands of its receiver for a big gain. Here's a touchdown pass from White to Jamison Warren. You see Warren there posing for the camera just a little bit. But the Eagles down by 17. You get the ball to start the second half. You put a drive together, a scoring drive, preferably 7, and then you go from there.
Robeson on to kick this one away. Let's go ahead and quickly throw it down to Raven Douglas, the third member of our crew.
For the Aggies.
Thanks, guys. You guys were talking about the success of the Eagles, and I just got a chance to talk to Trey Oliver, and he talked about how the biggest thing that's shining today is their discipline. They're doing well playing discipline. They let 2 plays slip, but he loves their eye discipline and the way that they're staying together. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Raven. Always appreciate your insight from down on the sideline. As Amonte Jones is back deep to receive this one. Along with Javon Dillard. The wind starting to pick up a little bit down on the field and swirling.
So you set them off, and you're going to keep the play clock on the field.
And the play clock is out on the field, which means that it will be kept by the officials.
And let's see if that plays a factor in the second half if this game gets any closer.
Well, A&T has a chance to set the tone here in half number 2 as we are back underway in Greensboro. A swirling kick that will head through the end zone for a touchback. Decent field position for A&T.
Robinson's kick sails through the end zone.
Now opportunity for Kevin White to get right back on the field after a successful touchdown drive to close out the second half. Let's see if A&T can keep that momentum going for Central. Just do what you did in that first half. Limit the big plays. You did give up a couple. But just make A&T earn everything out there on the field. Make them drive the length of the field.
The big thing, Damian, was in those 2-minute drill situations, it seems like the Aggies playing a lot more free. If I'm A&T, I'm trying to run that 2-minute drill style offense and see what kind of success I can have.
Well, we mentioned it going into the halftime break. A lot of success doing that 2-minute offense. Do you just run that for the majority of the second half, or do you go back to your playbook? It looks like that 2-minute offense is still in motion for North Carolina A&T. It seems that's what White is comfortable with right now.
Quick pitch and catch. Dillard able to gain a first down on the first play from scrimmage in half number 2. And you know what? Sometimes when you're not thinking about things as much and you're just playing ball, you can have more success.
You're right. You're not really trying to react to the defense. You're just doing what you do offensively.
Graves with a few blocks across midfield and rumbles down to the 42.
That first pass opened up a run lane off left guard for Graves here. You see it's hard for Graves to be brought down with the initial contact, picks up a first down.
Usually the run opens up things in the passing game. Right now for A&T, it's the opposite.
Well, I think teams are going to make the Aggies prove that they can throw the football before they allow A&T to get anything on the ground. You stack the box and make the Aggies throw it.
Graves gets the call again. It'll bring up 2nd and 7 from the 39.
Aggies in a hurry. Looks like they are running that 2-minute offense.
Play action. Some time for White. He throws it up towards the end zone. Lots of contact. Dillard can't come up with it. And it looks like the mutual hand fighting will not result in a flag.
And Dillard almost made that adjustment to get to that football. Did a great job of turning his body around. Just couldn't quite keep his footing. The ball falls harmlessly to the ground, and big third down here.
The pocket was starting to collapse on White there towards the end. 3rd and 7 from the 39. Play action. White rolls out, tucks it, runs it, still on his feet. Body's flying everywhere, and now he's tripped up back at the 49. Ran out of options.
White gets out of trouble, tries to regather himself and keep his eyes downfield, but you see a player look like he shot out of a cannon there for North Carolina Central.
Jelani Vassell out of Tampa, Florida, preseason MEAC first team selection.
And that's going to end that promising drive for A&T with the punt here.
DJ Page on to send this one away. Makai Wall back deep. High snap, brought down. End over end kick. Fair catch called for. And that one is secured at the 15-yard line.
Aggies looked like they had something going there on that drive, but couldn't keep that possession going with the third down pickup. It's time for the Eagles to take the offense to the field. And can A&T stop Central defensively? That's the question here in the second half.
So Walker Harris back on to quarterback this NCCU offense. 1st and 10 from its own 15. A handoff goes to Mosley. Still has some room, trying to gain the corner, and he is hip tossed down at around the 20.
Christian Mosley believes in his speed, believes that he can bounce it out and get the corner on anyone. Turns nothing into something there. Pretty good gain on first. Defensively here, Aggies, let's see what adjustments they make.
2nd and a long 4.
This has been Chance Peterson area for Central.
Harris airs it out, and he's got no one around.
He's looking for Chance Peterson again.
He was. So it'll bring up 3rd down for the Eagles. Today, 2 for 5 on 3rd down. So the A&T 3rd down defense has shown up.
And North Carolina Central believes that that's a mismatch. The slot receiver, whoever it is, versus the safety for A&T. See what the Eagles do here on 3rd.
Harris slings it outside and completes the pass to Kyle Morgan, and that will keep the drive alive.
You see that stack route concept. Doubles to the left side of the field, spread out that flat zone and bring your tight end for an easy 1st down catch.
The Eagles working quickly. Mosley stood up after a gain of 2.
And that's what I want to see. If A&T can consistently stop the run game from Central, can Walker Harris continue to move the Eagles with his arm? Had a great first half offensively, did Central, versus A&T's defense.
Mosley gets the call again, and the A&T front 7 getting the job done on that play. A couple of Eagles slow to get up, including Jaquan Sprinkle. It'll be 3rd and 9 for NCCU.
And this is the money down in football. Can you get off the field defensively, or can you keep drives going offensively?
Doubles formation. Harris dropping back and is able to complete the pass to Taylor. He has the 1st down and more, and is finally brought down at the 45. So 2 3rd down conversions to keep this drive alive.
Well, the Aggies bring Jaden Williams on the backer blitz, but Williams cut low. And if you're Jaden Williams, you don't get to Walker Harris or speed up his process. That drag route is going to be open. That resulted in a 1st down.
1st and 10 from the 45. Makai Wall, the motion man. As Rogers just took a shot at midfield.
And Arthur Rogers, nice game there, but paid for every single yard. Jonathan Kimbrough Campbell laid the wood.
NCCU moving quickly, 2nd and 5. Play action to the outside for Van Gates. Still working, and he takes a shot in the open field. A&T starting to hit. Daniel Cole's on that one.
Flowing towards the ball. There's only so much cutting back you can do before that pursuit catches up to you. It'll be another first down, though, for Central.
Daniel Cole's a 3-star running back out of high school. Played running back last year for A&T, and with the new staff came a new assignment.
Inside Aggie territory at the 43.
Harris, lots of time. Airs it out, and that one into the A&T sideline as Taylor unable to catch up with it.
And Harris all day to throw. Smart decision, not forcing anything, just throws it away, live to play another down.
That's been the biggest advantage for NCCU today, in the trenches, both ways. Putting pressure on A&T's offense, allowing Harris to operate, keep his uniform clean today on the grass surface.
I mean, you see the all-white uniform, not too many marks on Walker Harris.
Rogers lowers his shoulder and is able to have himself the 36. That'll bring up third down and about 4 to go.
It seems to be the Arthur Rogers drive at running back for Central.
Central's already converted 2 third downs. A&T unable to get off the field on this drive. Rogers again, and he is at the first down marker, and that will move the chains again. So 3 for 3 on this drive are the Eagles, who are putting together quite the impressive run up and down the field.
And that's why it was important for the Aggies to get points on their opening drive. This is what good teams do. You know, you get that lead in the first half, and then the first drive of the second half, you methodically move down the field, take a lot of time off the clock, you shorten the game. You look, we're almost halfway through this third quarter already, and Central is almost in the red zone.
Harris on the option gets pulled down by Alderman.
And Alderman, his second big play on Walker Harris in this ball game for North Carolina A&T.
He's been one of the few guys that's been able to sneak into the backfield today.
And if Alderman doesn't make that tackle, it's a lot of grass out there for Walker Harris.
Brings up 2nd and 15 for the Eagles. Harris steps up, launches it down the sideline, and completes it in the end zone to Chauncey Spikes. Touchdown, NCCU.
Just a go route by Chauncey Spikes. All gas, no brakes, and runs past the defender, Ty Williams Jr., and makes an acrobatic grab as he falls to the ground. Beautiful pass there from Walker Harris, and another North Carolina Central touchdown. Eagles regaining that momentum.
6:36 to go in the third. 37-14. NCCU on top. Make it 38-14 to cap off a 13-play, 85-yard drive in 5 minutes and 59 seconds. It's all Central in Greensboro. We're back after this. Excellence, sustaining success, investing in champions, because that's what Aggies do.
How about that throw from Walker Harris? Touchdown pass. Outstretched arms of Chauncey Spikes. The Eagles, who looked like that A&T trying to get back into this ball game, had a pretty good drive going there to start the third quarter. It bogged down around midfield, and methodically the Eagles picked up multiple third downs on that possession and went for the kill shot, long ball from quarterback to wide receiver. Spikes gets in the zone. Central right back in the driver's seat.
The Eagles with 468 yards of offense.
That's a lot of yards. And We are still 6:36 mark of the third, another quarter as well. Again, Aggies have had their hands full trying to stop Central's offense in this ball game, and Coach Gibbs talked about it going into the halftime break. He felt like, they were beating themselves and making mistakes in the run game as well as giving up long passes, but that particular drive for Central, they picked up multiple third downs on that drive. That's just a case of a team methodically trying to beat you down.
Well, the Aggies are going to need some special teams help to start making a dent.
Someone has to make a play for A&T. Could start with the kick return game.
The Aggies take the safe and correct route there and kneel down in the end zone for the touchback. Because thinking about it, the beginning of this game, really the first few drives for A&T were, you started so deep in your own end of the field, you gave up 2 safeties.
And those 2 possessions in which they gave up the safeties, it was kind of like, hey, what's going on offensively with these guys? Wesley Graves had a good run initially. That was the only really positive play offensively during the first quarter for North Carolina A&T, and you fall behind 17-0, and you're just trying to dig your way out of that hole ever since.
The pitch to Blizzard as he gets angled out, and he actually ripped the defender's helmet off.
We have
it was Isaiah Lawson.
We have a Shamik Blizzard sighting. A&T looks for a spark. Isaiah Lawson is going to have to come off for this play after he loses his hat.
So Albert Red will trot on. Now he trots off. Second and 7. The lights have come on here at Truist Stadium and started to take effect. Delayed handoff. Blizzard able to rush ahead for 5.
That's a good run for Shamik Blizzard. Fresh legs, fresh eyes in there at the running back position, trying to match North Carolina Central's last drive. Again, Coach Gibbs said there's no 17-point, or in this case, no 24-point plays. So you just stack good plays on top of plays and put a drive together and try to get in the end zone.
The handoff, Blizzard, nowhere to go, and he stopped 1.5 yards shy of the first down marker.
And as a coaching staff, you're thinking like, oh, it's third and short. Let's challenge these guys. Hey, guys, all we need is 1.5 yards, 2 yards.
A&T going for it from under center. White pushing. Did he get there? Initial spot says no. They're going to stop the clock.
And the line judge is already pointing towards North Carolina Central. You see Max Uren there, outstanding linebacker.
We've said all day, Damian, that NCCU has won the battle in the trenches.
It starts up front, and if you can't get 1 yard, 1.5 yards, it's going to be difficult to win ball games. A&T tried to man up there and get a good push. Excellent penetration. And that's a case of just getting lower than your counterpart. Defensive line for Central, outstanding job on that 4th down play.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the 34. And now some movement as the bands have started to revert to, I guess, what a lot would say is HBCU culture and playing while the quarterback is under center.
False start. Offense. Number 55.
Well, I
5-yard
always thought
penalty.
that was normal,
First
maybe
down.
because I played in an HBCU, but not until I really started to call games. I'm like, oh, the bands don't play. Doing the actual game. Okay, cool.
And it looks like Dr. Ruff may have put all 20 of his tubas in the front row. A little gamesmanship. Both schools have put their tubas in the front row.
Why not? A
Well,
tuba battle.
That's actually looks like exactly what's happening right now. Harris swings to the outside for Cosby, and he gets sandwiched and thrown out of bounds.
Right now, if you're A&T, you got to get this football back. First defender hold up the offensive player. Second defender rip at it, punch at it, do whatever you can to try to get a turnover. That's something that A&T has lacked, early on in the season, is getting turnovers, change of possession, making it a little bit easier on your offense to score points.
Harris throws it over to Mosley, turns upfield, down the sideline and in for his 4th touchdown of the day. Chris Mosley, the senior from Fort Worth, Texas.
Just too easy for North Carolina Central. And Mosley just moseys on out the backfield. You mentioned from Texas. Nobody around him, partner. And in for 6, his 4th touchdown of the day. They say everything's bigger in Texas. Mosley's having a huge day. If you're the North Carolina A&T faithful, what can you say? Nothing that you can say, and you hate it for such a intense fan base. But for North Carolina Central, if you're on that sideline in the maroon and gray, you love it. This is the type of game. This is part 2 of last season's game.
As we get another look, Walker Harris,
Mosley
wide open,
leaking out of the backfield, not accounted for. Jogs into the end zone there. Central. Fly, Eagle, fly.
We'll take a timeout. We're back after this on I-48. Cohen.
Aggie legend, MEAC and school all-time leading rusher, 2017 4th-round draft pick, first freshman to rush 1,000 yards in a season. What about your success? What contributed to your success, and how are you pouring it into this team?
The main thing that contributed to my success probably was timing. It was God's timing, and also my teammates. I came into a family, and that's what helped me excel and be the best version of myself.
What's going through your mind in the midst of this rich rivalry?
Just the feelings of how I felt when I used to be a player here and those emotions coming back.
What have you seen in Coach Gibbs? Is it anything different, anything the same since when you were playing for him?
He hasn't changed a bit. He might be a little slower, now he's getting a little older, but attitude, mentality, he hasn't changed a bit.
Nice. And just how are you just going to continue to pour into this team?
Doing anything they need me to do, whether it's, helping them out one-on-one time or talking to the team as a whole, just trying to give them what I know and some motivation to the team.
You came into practice this week with a maroon hoodie on, NCCU taped on it. How do you think this got the team fired up?
It just showed them, we haven't accomplished anything. We're the underdogs. Everybody in the world going to be going against us, and we just got to lock arms and, just bow our necks.
Got it. Thank you, Tariq.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Always good to see Aggie legend Tariq Cohen here. I got a chance to catch up with him pregame. Just such an unfortunate end to his NFL career. It was amazing to watch him play, and some of the stuff he did here in blue and gold it will never be touched. As White throws that one to the sideline, and it's intercepted.
Kevin White trying to take a shot there, and Anthony Fisher, excellent, getting his head around on the football, goes up, pinpoints it, interception for Central.
And that'll get the Central crowd riled up as that defense goes and celebrates with the fans that made the 55-mile drive from the Bull City.
You talk about Tariq Cohen, I'm showing my age here, but before we talk about Tariq Cohen, we see this replay. White, decides to go for the jump ball, and just more like the defender was the wide receiver there. Excellent play from Anthony Fisher. Central just having its way now. Talk about Tariq Cohen. I remember when he was a star running back at Bunn High School for the Wildcats. And I'm like, who is this guy that no one can tackle? And that was Tariq Cohen.
Harris for the home run ball to Cosby, and he brings it in.
It's laundry on the field, and Cosby pinpoints that pass and goes up and makes a big-time grab.
Flags on the play.
See if it's offensive or defensive pass interference. If it's defensive, that'll be waved off, and Eagles will take first and goal.
Nassim Cosby.
Safe to say that Central doesn't care that it's 45-14.
No, they do not. 5 grabs, 80 yards today for Cosby. He's been fantastic.
There are multiple fouls by the defense. Holding. Number 21. Pass interference. Number 27. Both penalties decline. Results of the play is a first down.
Both penalties declined on the defense, and it will be first and goal from the 3-yard line for the Eagles.
Again, clean pocket for Walker Harris. Cosby locating the football. Defender not getting his head around. First and goal, Eagles.
Rogers lowers his shoulder, still chugging, and he's in for 6.
As just want to. Arthur Rogers with a little bit of help from the big guys up front with the push. The Eagles back in the zone once again.
Complete domination from NCCU today.
And for a time, especially to start that third quarter, Aggies on a drive, down 31-14. Looked like, okay, the Aggies can get a score here. You know, it's a ball game, but not able to put points on the board. That ensuing possession for Central, methodically picking up third down after third down, getting into the zone, and it's snowballed since that point. And now it's looking like last season all over again here, as North Carolina Central has come to Greensboro and made themselves at home. Didn't take their shoes off, just walked in the house, muddy feet, doing what they want to do here in Truist Stadium.
21 unanswered points by NCCU here in quarter number 3.
And now the officials' job, much like our job, is going to get really hard. You're going to have to maintain some type of decorum on the field if you're the official. These are the moments in ball games, especially blowouts. You never say a game's over, but you know, you're trailing by, if my math is correct, 38 points here. If you're A&T, you're probably not going to come back. So this is when you got to keep an eye on these players. If you're the officials, you don't want something, you know, terrible to mar this rivalry and something break out on the field.
Last week, Central notched 499 yards of total offense. Today, 547.
In the previous 2 games versus New Hampshire and Old Dominion, North Carolina Central's offense was non-existent. You know, really struggled, but got back on track last week in Durham versus Fayetteville State, and that's carried over to today. And the Eagles are always confident when these two teams play each other. I mean, even if A&T or Central is having a bad season, it's a rivalry, so you never go into a rivalry game thinking you're going to lose. So, and couple that with the fact that, you know, Central has a lot of talent on their team, and they're putting it on full display this afternoon.
The Eagles have won 3 in a row in this rivalry, averaging 41.3 points per game over that span. As that one is complete to Dillard, he gets shoved out of bounds. The road does not get easier for A&T. At Maine next week.
Tough game.
And then at William and Mary. 2 tough road trips before the greatest homecoming on earth against the reigning MEAC champs, South Carolina State.
Yeah, 3 really difficult games for A&T. So for the remainder of this one, you want to get some good things on film, and this is a good thing for Kevin White.
White to Vini into the red zone.
Vini had a step, but could not keep his momentum in bounds. But a big play nonetheless. And I talked about chunk plays as one of my keys to the game for Central. You got to get multiple 20-plus yard plays, and that's a big-time chunk play for North Carolina A&T.
First and 10 from the 19. Graves through the middle, gets upended and slammed to the ground by Elijah Clark.
Wesley Graves on the carry. Stop made by number 54, Max Urine.
Aggies just trying to get their offense to where it may not show up in this game in the final scoreboard, but get some confidence in this offense, especially if Kevin White is going to be your signal caller and he can stay healthy for the remainder of the season.
Here's White, tucks it, runs it, and will come rolling in at around the 6, and now a late flag comes in as it appears he was giving himself up, and Central just disregarded it.
Now, of course, me being a defender, that's a tough play for a defender. You're already committing before White takes the slide, but again, you have to know football now. Quarterback is probably going to slide.
Personal
but
foul.
then again, you got quarterbacks
defense.
not
Number
sliding,
27.
thinking like they're going to
The
slide,
penalty
thinking
force
like
has
they're
to
going to
go
go out of bounds, so it puts
automatic.
the defender
First
in a tough
down.
situation.
At what point, if you're Sean Gibbs, do you consider putting Noah Sanders in?
Well, you want to get White reps. Kevin White hadn't played in a season, so if he's going to be your quarterback going forward, these are valuable reps.
White picks up the first down.
I understand what you're saying. You don't want Kevin White to get hurt if he's going to be the quarterback, but he has to play to get some type of consistency.
First and goal from the 5. Play action. The toss to the outside to Rucker, and he slides in for 6.
Kevin White has to feel good for that young man, and in a game that's gotten away from North Carolina A&T to get 6 on the scoreboard. Try to give the fans something to cheer about here in Greensboro.
Ineligible player downfield. Offense, number 7. 5-yard penalty. Retry the try.
And that's going to take the touchdown off the board. And it's a legal man downfield, if I'm not mistaken.
That is a tough call to go against A&T on a day where not much has gone right.
Not much has gone right. A couple of calls not going the Aggies' way in the first half. Touchdown there, one of the few highlights for A&T, and that comes off the board with the penalty.
J.T. Smith, the single back. And now a timeout taken as A&T was all discombobulated
North
coming
Carolina
out of the penalty.
They're first. 30 seconds.
For North Carolina Central and Trey Oliver, this is the type of game that you wanted to stack on top of the win at home versus Fayetteville State before you get into the meat of your schedule. And it looks like offensively as well as defensively for Central, they're starting to gel as a ball club. You know, with the MEAC, always competitive. A&T plays one of those MEAC opponents, South Carolina State, for their homecoming in a couple of weeks. So, big-time matchups in that MEAC. So Central playing well, A&T trying to still build that portion of their program up. It's going to take some time for Coach Gibbs. He knows what it takes as a former player and coach. It's just going to take a little bit of time here in Greensboro.
The part that's so fascinating to me, Damian, is, listen, there were no secrets coming into this game. Trey Oliver, Sean Gibbs were teammates when they played at NCCU together. A lot of members of the staff have worked on both sides of this thing. They knew exactly what the Aggies were trying to do as White sends that one just a bit outside. And
Bob
yet,
Zucker.
Central shut down this A&T rushing attack, just 43 yards today.
And sometimes, as two programs and two coaches who know each other so well, you know what your opponent is going to do. Okay, you know what I'm going to do, but I'm still going to out-execute you. And North Carolina Central has out-executed A&T, and it started up front in the trenches. I'm sure that Trey Oliver knew that Coach Gibb wants to run the ball, but A&T did not allow the Aggies, or rather NCCU did not allow A&T to get comfortable running the football and putting the onus on Kevin White to try to throw the football. And here you see a wildcat throw to the end zone. That's going to be picked off. And that's
a touchback.
You go from a touchdown and bringing it back on a penalty to running a trick play to try to get in the end zone, and that's a interception. And going back to two programs and two coaches who know each other so well, teammates at North Carolina Central way back when is Sean Gibbs and Trey Oliver. Fun fact, I played against both of them when I was at Virginia State, and they were at North Carolina Central, and Central beat us, but that's neither here nor there. But ex-teammates, coach together, know each other really well. So when you know that much about your opponent, it comes down to execution. And North Carolina Central clearly has executed at a higher rate today than A&T.
It'll bring up 1st and 10 for the Eagles from the 20, and looks like Trey Oliver starting to dig a little deeper into his roster. Josh Jones will lead the offense. Rogers drops the ball. It's picked up by Alderman, and he's going to run into the end zone.
So the Aggies get their touchdown nonetheless, as on a day where Arthur Rogers has had a really good afternoon running the football, can't hold on to it there. And there goes Uno. Alderman, as he scoops up the football for the scoop and score. There you see clean fumble, scoop and score opportunity for Tim Alderman.
Jonathan Kimbrough Campbell just put a helmet on the pigskin, and it popped right out.
And that has to feel good as well for the defense in a game where Central is, had a lot of big plays. Aggies able to score defensively.
A&T going with a funky two-point conversion formation. The pitch, Graves, not much room to work, and he is dragged down at around the 8.
Not quite sure about that one. I think at this point A&T is figuring like, hey, probably not going to come back. Let's try play some different formations. But here you see again on the fumble, just helmet on ball. Tim Alderman right there to scoop it and score it. And that's a highlight for Tim Alderman in a game in which A&T needed more of that.
Well, Damian, if you're North Carolina A&T, how do you bounce back in this one and for next week as you try and figure stuff out and make a dent in CAA play?
The same thing that Tariq Cohen said, wrap your arms around each other, because ultimately you're all you got in that locker room, in the facility. This is when the doubt could start to creep in, but you got to keep your head down, lock in, keep working, understand that it's a process. Anything is a process. And, you learn, watch the film, you learn from your film, and get back to work on Monday.
Brown will kick this one away. It's fielded by Sterling Green, and he stepped out of bounds at the 3.5-yard line.
And Sterling Green's probably going to hear it from the special teams coach from Central. Doesn't matter, it's 52-20. You catch it on the 1-yard line, and then you step out of bounds on about the 3.
Well, if you're A&T, do you mess around, bring a little pressure, and see what you can force?
Why not?
I mean, we already saw one crazy comeback this season.
We did? Yes, we did. Now, this would be this would go down in the annals of sports history. If the Aggies were to even make it a one-score ball game at some point here as we wind down the third going into the fourth. But, again, one of my favorite things to say, I've seen stranger things happen.
Jones will continue to quarterback the offense. The handoff to Dobson, and he is stood up.
Laundry on the field in the secondary.
Illegal substitute, defense, more than 11 players on the field. 5-yard penalty, first down.
You can't have that happen. Not on a play like that.
The miscommunication defensively there. 12 men on the field for A&T, and that's going to give North Carolina Central a little bit more breathing room here as they're backed up.
Jones wrapped up and brought down in the backfield.
And more penetration from North Carolina A&T as you start to see some of those North Carolina Central backups. And now again, the A&T can take something away from this game. You look at this film, you'll take good moments away from this film. There you see getting off your block. Sadiq Cabanas Ali giving that big TFL.
2nd and 7. Jones dropping back, throws and completes it to Wall. He is angled out at around the 20, and that will be good for a first down.
Trey Mittman has just had fits trying to stay with these slot receivers, and it's difficult for a safety by trade and Trey Mittman to stick with these slot receivers. Most of these slot receivers are shifty, very quick out of their break, so excellent game planning from Central schematically on the offensive side of the football.
Jones takes the wide snap, able to dish it out to Crabtree, where he's met at the 25. So NCCU methodically dinking and dunking up the field, putting together a drive as we head to the fourth quarter. The Eagles have flown to Greensboro and asserted their dominance, looking for their fourth win in a row in the Aggie-Eagle Classic series. The 98th Aggie-Eagle Classic returns after these messages on My48. In all caps to 71777, or scan the QR code on your screen to give to the Aggie Athletic Foundation today, because that's what Aggies do. NCCU approaching 600 yards of total offense.
If you're a defensive guy, not the type of performance that you would have liked for North Carolina A&T. If you're North Carolina Central, man, you gotta love not only running the football but throwing it in this ball game.
The late option pitch goes to Mosley. He breaks free down the sideline. Touchdown number 5 for Mosley.
Christian Mosley. What in the world are we looking at today?
One of the best overall individual performances that this series has ever seen. Chris Mosley, his 5th touchdown of the day.
Shouts out to my guy, Donald Ware, who is the brains of Box to Road. Safe to say the HBCU Box to Road National Player of the Week is probably going to be Christian Mosley as he trots down that left sideline. And once he gets that sideline, nobody's going to catch him. Just pure unadulterated speed from Mosley as he
broke the tape there
at the finish line, and not only breaking the tape but knocking it out the park. And
listen, when you put up 5 touchdowns, you can do whatever you want.
You can do what you want to do.
And the exclamation point punched through. 59-20. Central.
Free food for life for Christian Mosley at W.G. Pearson Cafeteria on LaSalle Street in Durham, North Carolina. I only know that because,
I gave him a couple good calls today. You think I get the invite one time?
As is every cafeteria on the HBCU campus, fried chicken is excellent in the cafeteria. So if you like chicken, and if you like the sides, I'm talking about like mac and cheese and all that, yeah.
Collards.
Definitely.
Rice and hash.
Definitely. Whatever you want. W.G. Pearson Cafeteria on LaSalle Street. Because Christian Mosley, I'm at a loss for words because I knew that he was good from the Southern game, but he didn't do much versus Maine, and he didn't really do a lot versus Old Dominion. Didn't do a lot last week either, even though North Carolina Central put up a lot of points versus Fayetteville State.
Pretty sure some Aggies would say what the kids are saying these days. He's doing too much.
But
I'm pretty sure Trey Oliver doesn't believe in that.
Yes. And I think that
and that was to cap off a 4-play, 97-yard drive in 2 minutes and 8 seconds.
97 yards. So you said Central was quickly approaching 600 yards of total offense, so they're well over that
660.
now.
660. As that one will trickle out of bounds, but
CJ Mosley.
That all came to fruition because of the illegal substitution penalty.
All because of the illegal substitution. Got them out of the end zone, and it was a drive for the ages from there. But
free kick out of
you
bounds.
look at CJ
Kick it
Mosley's
Ball
number,
facing
Christian
the
Mosley's
35-yard
number.
line.
161 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns. 90 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. He's 10 yards receiving. I don't think that Coach Oliver is going to keep him in the game in the fourth quarter.
I don't know.
But he's 10 yards
in this
away
rivalry, I'm not
he's
saying
10
anything.
yards away from going over 100 receiving and running.
Right, that's like a double-double right there.
And not to mention Walker Harris, 22 of 29, 380, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
White sacked as Gary Dorsey comes from behind and is able to give him a big old bear hug. And this is just all Eagles.
And a lot of time left in this fourth quarter. So A&T does have an opportunity to put more points on the board. That's not going to help.
That one complete to Warren.
That's a good throw from White to Jamison Warren. Warren is nice last couple of ball games here for North Carolina A&T.
3rd and short. Play action. White. Flush from the pocket. He's going to take it himself and is able to angle out. And he got tripped up late and ran right into the chain gang as the offensive line will go and retrieve their quarterback as he comes up limping.
White missed.
And here's Noah Sanders.
Much of last season. Kevin White now limping to the sideline. And you ask how much longer were you going to keep Kevin White in the ball game? White, and you and I have tripped on that black.
Oh, last week I almost didn't make it to the broadcast booth.
Right, we've tripped on that several times. I almost killed myself earlier before we went on air.
The handoff to Graves, and he has absolutely nowhere to go, a loss of 1. I mean, listen, Noah Sanders was ready to go last week. Yeah, you have to give him credit, right? This is a young man who transferred in from Delaware, a program that moved from the CAA to FBS. Came down here, didn't earn the job, got buried deep, and I mean deep on the depth chart, and yet came into the action and was able to help lead A&T to victory last week as he takes a shot on that completion to Jamison Warren.
There's Sanders again looking for his guy, Jamison Warren. Those two obviously have a connection. They connect on that 41-yard touchdown late in the fourth quarter last week versus Hampton.
Sanders moving quickly. Doubles formation. Steps up. Now rushes. Tucks it. Runs it. And he will work his way out of bounds. Untouched.
For A&T, finishing out this ball game, you go on the road for 2 weeks straight, and that's when you're going to have to come together as a team, as a program. But these are valuable reps for Noah Sanders. You're not quite sure what is going on with Kevin White. He limped off the field, and his health, you know, the well-documented injury problems from the quarterback position for the Aggies so far this season is Sanders' pass falls incomplete, but just bad luck injury-wise at the quarterback position so far for North Carolina A&T this season.
Brings up 3rd and 7 from the 32.
And you would think that, you know, this is 4-down territory.
Sanders throws over the middle. That one batted away as Vini was the intended target. Aiden Davis on the coverage.
Just
And it is
blanket
4th
coverage.
down.
The blanket coverage there. Aiden Davis. A&T, you know they're going to go for it here on 4th. The Aggies fell behind 17-0 quickly. Tried to make a game of it. Could never quite get there. Things have spiraled since that moment.
Play action. Sanders on the run, and he is sacked. Back at the 40. It's Aiden Davis who came flying in, and that will be a turnover on downs as the Eagles have been circling for that W now for a few minutes, and it appears that they have it in their sights.
Eagles will take over 1st down and 10.
Central, again, this is the game for both of these programs, and you know, with Central, you know, making the trip up here after last season's win back in Durham, you know, A&T had that mindset like, hey, you got to come to our house now. It's going to be different. North Carolina Central just had the mentality of, hey, this is business as usual. This is what we do, especially versus the Aggies. He's just taking it to A&T.
Quarterback keeper as Jones is across midfield.
Jones on the keeper, cross midfield. It'll be 1st down and 10 for the Eagles.
And if you're North Carolina Central, you're looking at the future at the quarterback position. Jones. Walker Harris, redshirt senior. His day is over. Jones getting valuable reps.
That was Dobson on the carry. Some of the guys that are a little deeper on the depth chart getting some valuable reps, especially after Rogers fumbled a little earlier. It's Dobson's chance now. Second and 7. Dobson turns upfield, sneaks through for the 1st down, still moving his feet, carrying the pile on his back inside the 30.
And that's sheer want to there in a game that Central is clearly winning. Dobson running hard, wanting to show the coaching staff like, hey, give me some carries as well. I can get the job done. Central is not going to let up.
No, they are not. Outscoring A&T 28-6 in the second half. Dobson gets the call again. Escapes the first tackle and is finally brought down by Jonathan Kimbrough, Campbell and company.
Stop made by a host of Aggie tacklers.
You got a lot of backups in at the skill position for North Carolina Central. Chance for them to get reps, and so they're prepared when their number is called in subsequent ball games.
Second and 3. Dobson. And he rolls ahead for the first down.
Dobson again on the carry. Stop made by number 27, Jonathan Kimbrough.
Trey Oliver, the longest tenured head coach in Division I football amongst HBCUs. He's won 73% of his games. He's 31-12 over his last 4 seasons and about to be 32-12.
And as in when Trey Oliver first took the job at North Carolina Central, the success wasn't right away for Trey Oliver. It took a couple of seasons to cement himself as the head man there at Central, and since that moment, the program there in Durham has really taken off and had a stronghold in the MEAC, along with South Carolina State winning last season as well. But Central has always been near the top of the MEAC since Trey Oliver.
Number
That's
55.
1/3 of the conference. Right?
5-yard penalty.
It is one.
Second
Now
down.
it's 1/3 of the conference. It is 1/3 of the conference now. But when Trey Oliver first got there, MEAC was a full.
Yes, it was.
It was.
Yes, it was.
It was a full conference. Lost a couple of members here and there, but still compete at a high level. You look at the scoreboard. As I checked at halftime, Howard had a 20-0 lead over another CAA opponent in Hampton.
Here's Dobson, and he is tripped up just shy of the goal line.
Zion Dobson, the sophomore from South Carolina, trying to get in on the scoring action as Eagles trying to put another 60-plus spot on the board versus A&T. Dobson just cutting off the outstanding kick-out block. Holly St. Malou almost gets in the end zone, tripped up just short.
A&T denies the Jones keeper.
The Aggies led by number 92.
As Jelani King Leverett, coming off his 8-tackle performance in on the stop.
A loss of 2 on the play.
It'll bring up 2nd and goal from the 5 after the loss of 2.
2nd down and goal to go from the 5.
Chance here for someone on the defensive side of the football for A&T to make a play. There's always film study, and these are moments where coaches are like, hey, okay, goal line situation.
Timeout.
Don't look at
North
the score.
Carolina Central.
Just look
They're
at
first.
your assignment and
30
what
seconds.
you needed to do on that particular play.
We'll take a timeout as the Eagles have called timeout. We're back after this on Flo College and My 48.
Who is the next quarterback to step up for the Aggies today. He joined us on Monday for the weekly press conference, and the first thing he did when he stepped up to the mic was give honor and glory to serving an on-time God. His spiritual foundation is very important to him and has helped him throughout his journey as an Aggie. He shared with us that earlier last week he received a message saying just be still and know that God is God. This message helped him to just change his mindset and to just trust and have faith in what God has in store for him. Coach Gibbs said earlier this season that he instills in his players their 4 priorities are God first, then family, then academics, then football. He even owes weekly Bible studies in order to help them grow spiritually. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Raven, as the Eagles on the doorstep, 2nd and goal from the 5. The keeper, Jones, almost lost it there as Trayvon Dye, the Passaic native.
A little
On the
trickery
stop.
there. Trickery from NCCU, but snuffed out by Trayvon Dye. You mentioned almost a fumble. Ball did come out, but fortunately for Josh Jones, he was able to hang on to it. Third and a long goal, and here's Christian Mosley in the ball game again. You think they're going to try to get him the football partner?
Oh, 100%. The pitch, Mosley. And he is down at the 4.
Now,
interesting they didn't throw it to him, though, to try and get him the 100.
May not know that he needs those 10 yards. I think they were just trying to get him 6 touchdowns. You know, hopefully seeing if Mosley could find a crease and get into the zone. Because no reason, he hadn't played in this entire series until you get down to the goal line. But again, that's that rivalry.
No doubt.
You don't care.
Trey Oliver definitely does not care.
I don't care that we're up by 39.
Robeson on for the field goal, and he is able to punch it through. 62-20. NCCU on top will take a timeout. We are back after these messages on Flo College and My 48.
When you play the lottery, you're playing North Carolina.
Has been all Eagles today, as NCCU will be able to claim victory for the 4th consecutive time in the Aggie-Eagle series, the 98th meeting between these two ball clubs, a series that spanned over 100 years. The 100th meeting scheduled to take place in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Who's going to be the home team for that?
A&T is scheduled to be the home team for that one.
That'll be a pretty monumental afternoon of football. There are a lot of history between both of these programs and institutions. That'll be special. A&T, a repeat of last season's loss in Durham. They've allowed 60-plus points again to North Carolina Central. I thought, personally, I can't speak for you, partner. I thought that, especially coming up after that dramatic win last week, that the Aggies would use that momentum and build something in this ball game, and knowing that it's a rival, so you already got that juice from the rivalry anyway, but just the way that they were able to stick together and win late, I thought that the ball game would turn out differently, but unfortunately for the Aggies, North Carolina Central didn't get that memo.
You thought it would be a little bit more inspired today from A&T.
And we felt the juice a little bit on the field.
For sure.
Pre-game, I felt like, okay, these guys are pretty intense. You know, they both ways for A&T and Central. But, you know, Central is just a machine right now when it comes to the way that they play, they approach games, especially when they play teams that are not of those power conferences.
I mean, listen, there's a long road to climb for Sean Gibbs and this staff to bring this A&T program back to where it expects to be, as Blizzard is wrapped up and brought down to the grass by Isaiah Merritt.
Another freshman, Isaiah Merritt, getting in on the action. Third down quickly here for the Aggies.
Sanders tucks it, runs it, slides in, and that should be a late hit. And there's no flag.
Oh, Sanders.
That is wild.
Slid early, gave himself up.
That's crazy. That was straight up headhunting.
Not able to pick up the first, and there you see Aggie fan smiling through the pain. A lot of fans out these days. We talked about this cowboy culture. North Carolina Central coming after that punt as well. Trey Oliver, he has a do not care button, and fingers just pressing it right now.
Permanently glued on.
So, as ex-teammates, now, granted, Oliver, punter, defensive back, Gibbs, running back in North Carolina Central back in their playing days, sometimes, offensive and defensive players aren't that close. But they have to be relatively close.
No, these two are.
Ex-teammates, coach together, probably talk often. And what do you say to your friend after this ball game?
I doubt there'll be communication for a few weeks, other than the handshake after the game.
That's rough. I mean, because that's your, for lack of a better term, that's your partner. It's going to be tough not to talk to your friend, but your friend is doing you no favors in this ball game.
Javion Martin, the third quarterback for Central, has checked into the game. And if you're A&T, how do you bounce back from this, right? This is 2 years in a row now that you've been embarrassed by your rival.
Back? One day at a time. I know it's cliche coach speak. Get back to work.
Get healthy. Haven't seen Aaron Harris all day.
And I mentioned it. I'm like, where's Aaron Harris? And and I started to see that during kick returns, because Harris is a dangerous kick returner. So get healthy.
He returned one for a touchdown last year in this matchup.
Exactly.
Well, if nothing else, A&T did win halftime.
Always.
And the Aggies will be the halftime performance tomorrow during Sunday Night Football at the New York Giants game. So the Blue and Gold Marching Machine, the number one HBCU band in the land, according to the ESPN rankings, and the reigning champions will
those are
hop on up 95 and make it to MetLife Stadium in time for tomorrow's halftime performance.
And that is exposure for not only music department, but the entire university.
Dobson on the run into Aggie territory and tripped up at the 35.
Dobson clutching his left knee, coming down awkwardly after breaking off a big gain there. He's trying to stay in the ball game. He's going to head to the sideline. Hard to keep those knees protected when your pants are rolled up over your knees.
It's a fashion statement.
No, it looks good, but it doesn't do much to protect your knee.
Maybe it's like a second thigh pad.
See this run again. Dobson coming down. It's all the weight on that knee, and hope he's okay.
Rogers gets the call, and he's able to lower his shoulder and gain 6. And how about this dominating performance?
The 2-minute timeout.
How do you parlay this? You take on East Texas A&M in your next matchup, and then FAMU, a historic rival and a team that is always pretty darn good. We'll take a timeout. We're back after this on My 48. Back with you here in Greensboro. 2 minutes to go in this one as the Aggies are trying to find a way to regroup on the home field. Some fans have stuck it out till the end.
These are the faithful. I call them the faithful, and you have to have that type of mentality because there are going to be times like this, especially new coaching staff, probably a lot of new players that weren't in this system last season. You're going to have change with new coaching staff. So you got to stay the course. I know it's coach speak. It's a process in anything in life, and this is a process right now that A&T is going through. Central is they're in year 7, 8 of Trey Oliver. So they're well within the program building process. It's already built there in Durham. A&T is in that process now.
It'll be third down for NCCU with about 3 to go.
We mentioned it, tough stretch of ball games coming up for these North Carolina A&T Aggies. 2 road games, tough competition, Maine, William & Mary.
Dobson able to gain the first down marker, and that will do it.
Next time we'll see this beautiful stadium will be homecoming for North Carolina A&T versus South Carolina State.
It'll be victory formation for NCCU as Javion Martin works under center.
How about Christian Mosley? 168 yards on the ground, 3 tutties, 15.3 yard per carry average rushing, and also receiving, adding 4 catches for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. Central leaves no doubt here in Greensboro.
And that will do it. 62-20 the final.
And I think this may be smart. I think this is a mutual, okay, players, if you know someone, probably can go dap them up, but we're not going to do the traditional handshake. We don't want anything to happen. I think coaching staff may have talked about this prior. I don't think this is any sign of disrespect.
Yeah, no, this is just a couple guys dapping each other up. This is all friendly folks that are meeting up right now, and the A&T players, the NCCU players meeting up with their former coaches that have now made the transition back to A&T. And this is the healthy portion of the rivalry, that mutual respect that you may not hear about during the week, but a tough one for the Aggies. A great game for the Eagles, who have won their 4th in a row in this historic series. And bragging rights back in the Bull City for another year.
And again, Christian Mosley, Walker Harris, that offense for Central, full throttle, pedal to the floor from the beginning to the end. And the Eagles make a statement.
765 yards of total offense
have mercy.
For NCCU as they are victorious in the Gate City. For our Flo College and My 48 crew, our sideline reporter Raven Douglas, my partner Damian Banks, I'm Spencer Turkin saying so long from Greensboro. The Eagles take the 98th Aggie-Eagle Classic 62-20. You've been watching the CAA on Flo College. Good night.